Ty, obviously you've seen Steph so many times over the years. What's the challenge of when you have a successful half in the second half of last game against him to trying to replicate that, knowing that he's probably looked at that and is going to have different counters in this one?
Yeah, it's gonna be tough to do. The biggest thing for us is just paying attention to detail. Like we can't give him easy baskets. We can't lose him in transition. We can't let them get an offensive rebound. He relocates and we're not able to know where he's at on the floor. And you just can't gift him points. Like he's too great already. So we just gotta be locked in, making sure we're staying on his body, making sure we're staying physical, and making sure we have great awareness all night.
And Ty, how you doing?
Good.
After the win, the huge wire-to-wire win for you guys against Sacramento, I asked Kawhi about the team continuing good habits when you guys were up that big. You guys continue the things throughout the game that got you guys the lead, and he used the word carryover. What have you seen from this team that has allowed you guys to carry over in this last 13 games? You guys are 10-3 to allow you guys to play at the level where you guys expect.
Just the work the guys are putting in, every day, and so, just having shoot arounds, having practices, continue to keep getting better, but also the dialogue those guys are having, together. And so just to carry over from working hard and putting the work in practices and shooting arounds, and then just trying to get better each game. And so these guys have been doing that.
T, what's it looking like for Paul and Brandon tonight?
Paul and Brandon?
Yeah.
Brandon Boston?
Yes.
Yeah, he's active.
Both guys active?
No, Paul's out tonight.
Do you have a starting lineup with Paul being out?
Yeah, I do.
We saw Norm start second half
Yeah.
Tuesday. So is it Norm?
Who's Golden State starting?
Not Draymond.
Oh, and we're not starting Paul.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just piggybacking off of that, like Draymond's obviously a player. You played him in the finals so many times, and you've seen how that team reacts to when he's doing great, and also when he has consequences like being suspended, losing to that. Like you've seen how they kind of react to that positively and negatively. Like how do you anticipate playing a team that is missing a big piece and has to prepare to miss a big piece like Draymond right now?
They're still a great team. They have a great coach, like I talk about Steve all the time. The best coach or one of the best coaches in the league. And so they're going to be prepared. They're going to play the same style of basketball. Draymond brings a lot to them, defensively, but also offensively, be able to push the basketball, allowing Steph to play off the ball and, be able to have catch and shoot threes, push it in transition, making easy plays. And so, but they're going to be ready to play, and so we got to be prepared for it. We have one of our big guys out as well, and so it's going to be a tough game. So we just got to be locked in, ready to go.
Ty, who was it? Obviously, James had been so used to playing those first quarter minutes. Who was it that approached who about the second quarter stint where he comes out early in the first and starts with that second unit in the second quarter?
Who approached me?
Well, who approached James? Did James approach you? Did you approach James?
I approached, yeah.
How does that kind of conversation go when a guy is used to doing that for so long? How do you navigate something like that, asking him to make such a big change?
I think he did it in Philly a lot. I thought, he came out early and then he came back in when Joel went out, and so knowing a guy who can carry his own team, carry his own unit, just getting him comfortable, more pick and rolls, be able to be aggressive, being himself. And like I said, it's worked out for us.
Has he kind of approached you about different things he's seen? He talked a lot about having a coach that will, listen to him and be open to his ideas and everything. Has he approached you about different things he's seen on the court throughout his tenure here so far?
Yeah, all the time. And it's great to have a player who's an extension of you, understands and kind of sees your vision, see what you see. As plays like next time, he'll tell me before I even tell him, so he sees a lot on the floor. Very smart player. And so it's good having guys like that on your team.
Ty, a couple about your defense. One in general from your playing and coaching career before this too, but to be a great defense, are there areas you think are the hardest to stay consistent with throughout a season for a team to be that type of great defense? And then are those the same areas that are kind of what you guys have needed to be great into consistently related to this specific personnel?
Yeah, it could be games where you're tired than others, things like that. But I think if you have your normal, defensive foundation, I think you should do that every single night. And so those are the things that you could be a step slow on pin downs. You can be a step slow in rotations, but are you making the right rotations? Are you getting to the right spots? And so those are the things we got to continue to be good at every single night. And so that's what we harp on, just having our defensive foundation and doing the right thing every single night.
So is it fair to say just focus on the game
I
plan?
mean, not focused. I mean, like I said, you can. In some games, you can be tired or worn down, and you might not be as fast chasing on pin downs. But are you doing it the right way? You know, boxing out is one of the things that I would say focus. Like we know a lot of teams are crashing the glass. Like, can you turn around every time and check to box out so we don't give up a lot of offensive rebounds? But that's the biggest thing for me.
Ty, was Paul able to test his hip this morning? Did he do anything in shoot around?
Yeah, he did a few things.
Do you think this was a day-to-day thing, or do you think it could be multiple games?
Day to day for right now.
Ty, you talk about always trying to find a good shot for your team. It doesn't matter about pace or whatnot. From what you've seen with the guys, do you see it more likely that you guys have a better efficiency pushing the pace, or kind of just using up most of the 24 on the shot clock?
It depends. I think when we're rebounding basketball, getting out early and transition and pushing, I think it's really good for us, to capitalize on. Things that we were really bad at early on in the season was 3-on-2s, 2-on-1s, 4-on-3s, of just really converting those situations. Like we were, I think, number one in the league for a while in steals, but we wasn't converting on the other end. And so since James has been here, we've done a lot better with that. But, if you can run early in the shot clock and you can take advantage of teams not giving back, then you want to do that. And then if not, just having that secondary offense where we can also execute and generate good shots, which I think we've been good at as of late.
Ty, this is the third time you guys are playing Golden State. I believe you've also played Denver and San Antonio 3 times. Playing a team that many times this early in the season, is that something you prefer? What are the pros and cons of that, even in terms of preparing for an opponent that many times this early?
Well, you know what they're going to do. Essentially, you pretty much know how a team's going to play, the style they're going to play. And so, like I said, we just played them, a few games ago. So we should be locked into how they play, And I've already talked about Golden State, their speed and the pace they play. You can kind of go through it and shoot around. You can watch film, but until you're actually on the floor and see how they play and see how fast they play, the speed they play with, you really don't know. And so we should be, pretty much locked into how they play.